What's up YouTube? Thanks for tuning in this video. I'm Nash, and in this video we're going to talk about how I bought a 10-acre property for only $600 a month. But first, make sure to like this video and subscribe so we get off to a good start. All right, so seller financing, that's what we're talking about in this video, and man, is it such a beautiful concept. And I want to get into my story and how I bought a 10-acre property, eventually how I turned it into an RV park, but how I got started for only $600 a month. So I first started my real estate journey buying and selling mobile homes. I'd buy mobile homes for really cheap, turn around and sell them, and how I would sell them would be through seller financing. Now, if you haven't seen, I made a video above about what owner financing is or seller financing. You can watch it above here. But essentially, seller financing is where the seller becomes the bank and finances the property or the house in a rent-to-own situation. So what I did with my mobile homes is I would buy them, I would fix them up, and then I would sell them for a certain market price. But a lot of the time, people don't have that market price in hand. They don't have all that cash in hand. So what I would accept was payments with interest, which would come out to a larger lump sum in the end. However, it would be over courses of time. And so what I did was I sold a couple mobile homes, and I done seller financing where I done a certain amount of years. I think the first one was an 8-year contract. So there's also a contract that's put in place between the seller and the buyer. And if the buyer does not make their payments, the seller can legally take that property back. But what I did was, I think 8 years for the first mobile home I did, 5 years for another. We had a few others, but pretty much I had sold 2 mobile homes, and each one was bringing in about $500 a month passive income, just $500 a month from each one, so about $1,000. And what I did was, once I had sold those, we wanted to, get a bigger and better project underway. And we were looking around, and we were actually on Craigslist, and I was looking for a property on Craigslist. We saw somebody that posted up something in our area, and they were willing to do seller finance. And the seller financing agreement was a 15% down payment followed by payments of $619 for 15 years. Now, this is, if you haven't looked into seller financing, I really recommend it. You can check out Pace Morby's channel. Really, really good. He does a lot of good stuff about creative financing. But it's a beautiful way to get started in real estate without really a lot of money. And so we had found this property. It was an empty 10-acre property, which was exactly what we were looking for. And the owner just wanted a 15% down payment, which 15% of $85,000 is $13,000, which I had $13,000 in saving. I just sold 2 mobile homes, so I got the down payments from both of those. So typically in a seller finance or owner finance, the seller agrees to sell it with a down payment, which is usually, it depends. Sometimes people do, no down payment, but higher payments, but it's usually anywhere from like 10 to 15%. So this seller wanted 15%, which was $13,000, which if you're watching this, I mean, with a little bit of work, with 6 months to a year of work, you could save $13,000. You could really do it. So $13,000 followed by a 15-year contract with payments of $619. I still make those payments today. So for $600 a month, I get access to this property plus a down payment of $13,000. To me, that's a fantastic deal. There was no credit checks. There was no banks involved. It was just me and the seller, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's a way for you to get started very easily. And not only that, but if you have a full-time job or you have another way in which you're making income, you can cover those payments until whatever the property is, like whether you're doing a residential house or a piece of land. Once that piece of land or residential house is cash flowing, then it really X's out. But for me, I had $1,000 a month coming in from my mobile homes. I put $13,000 down, which I got that down payment from the mobile homes, and the mobile homes were paying, for the monthly payment. So really, as soon as I bought the property, I was already in the black. I was already profiting because I was profiting from the extra mobile home I had. So I was profiting like $400 or $500 a month still. So and from that property, I leveraged that and eventually started an RV park. And if you haven't watched any of my videos on that, I do have a video here about how I started my RV park, which you can watch. But really, it's a beautiful thing, creative finance and seller finance. And you can see the potential of it if you can leverage it. And a lot of people out there, they maybe aren't on the MLS. They're not, marketing these properties out in the open. a lot of them are just for sale by owners. So maybe try going on Craigslist, and try also too, if you're looking for some deals and you're talking with some owners, negotiate. And a great way to negotiate is if they have a certain price, let's say it's, let's just use for simple terms, a $100,000 price, you can approach them and, offer them, say, hey, I'll buy your house for $150,000. They'd say, well, it's up for $100,000. Why would you, pay $150,000? And you can explain to them how you're interested in seller financing and how they can profit $50,000 extra on top of that, and they can get monthly passive income. And that's the thing I love about seller finance, is it's so beneficial for the seller and it's so beneficial for the buyer. So for us, you can see how beneficial it was for us. I mean, we were able to get access to 10 acres without having to fork out $85,000. We only had to fork out 15%. And those monthly payments were easy for us, especially too, once you leverage your property or your house for whatever it is you want to do. So let's say, for instance, it's a residential house and you put a down payment, and right away you get a renter in there. That renter's paying that monthly payment that's due to the seller through seller finance. So if you're the buyer, it's very, very good for you, because you don't have to do any credit checks, and you can easily get started in real estate. And if you're the seller, I mean, it's a beautiful thing as well, because it's a tax-free event. It's literal passive income, because when you sell a property through seller finance, it's not a rental, so you're not having to manage anything. You're not having to cut any lawns. You're not having to fix any refrigerators. It is 100% passive. And if you're in a landlord-friendly state, you don't have anything to worry, especially if you have a very good note or a very good contract put in place, and the person or the buyer violates that contract, you have all legal right to take that away. I recommend, if you haven't watched, I have a video up above here about the best states to invest in real estate for landlords and starting RV parks or real estate investments. So I recommend watch that video so you can get kind of a general overview. But yeah, if you're in a good landlord-friendly state, it's a beautiful thing, and it's literally one of the closest things to 100% passive income. I've done it before with my mobile homes, and it is a beautiful thing because you don't have to manage anything. You don't have to overview anything. You really are just collecting your check every month, and it's a beautiful thing. So that is how I bought my property, a 10-acre property, for only $600 a month. Obviously, there was a down payment involved, but for $600 a month, I get access to 10 acres in which I can start whatever I want, which I ended up starting an RV park, which now makes well over that $600 threshold that it cost me. I make 10 times as much now. So that is the beauty of seller financing. If you haven't looked into it, like I said before, watch Pace Morby's channel. I do have a video I made as well, which you can watch on my channel, but a beautiful thing. Highly recommend it. One of the best ways to get started in real estate. You really don't need that much money, and you can even do it for $0 down, or you can ask family and friends or investors for that small down payment to get started. But you can see the beauty in it and how you can get started in real estate pretty easily through creative finance, through seller finance. But thanks for watching, guys. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see my journey, how I went from busboy to RV park owner, watch this video to the side here. If you want to see how much my RV park makes, watch this video on this side here. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.